Hello, welcome back to another delightful discussions. I am your hostess, Mariah Young, the first impressions director at 48 Days Disc Team. And I have a question for you today. What does culture mean to you? Specifically, company culture is what we're going to be talking about today. If this seems like an abstract word for you, make sure you stay tuned. We're going to talk about that today with our Chief Inspiration Officer, Ashley Logsdon. So make sure you stay tuned. All right, I am very excited to introduce to you my DISC mentor, also the DISC guru. She has been working with DISC for so long now, 20 plus years, and knows so much about this topic and company culture. And I am excited to share with you a tangible way to create a thriving workplace with Ashley Logsdon. So without further ado, I bring her on to share with you. Yay! All right, guys, if you have any questions, of course, make sure that you ask, and I will make sure to share those with Ashley. And of course, make sure that you say hello, because it is one thing that we don't get to see who is on. So we would love to hear from you and know that you are with us. All right, let's jump right in. Oh, and right as soon as I said that, we've got one. Yes. Hello, Don Renee. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. All right, so Ashley, we have some great topics to cover today, so we will not waste any more time. Can you share with us what company culture means to you?
Oh, yes. Well, thank you for having me on. And yeah, I love seeing comments come in and answering questions. So definitely, anytime we're doing these calls, it's focused specifically. We always have a topic, but it's great that it's for those of you who are listening, and you get top priority. You get to ask those questions, and we get to answer them real time for how it directly applies to you and your business. So the company culture, it can really make or break a company. And I have noticed, just even in my volunteering world, our family has traveled the states full time in our RV, and we've had the pleasure of volunteering at different places, camp hosting, and I have found that the whole vibe of the campground can change completely by the people that are there, and different volunteers bring different things. And so I've been there in a situation where we have a whole group of volunteers that are making up the team for the month, and it's and it's all adding things and one upping each other in a positive way, kind of playing with who's going to, fold the toilet paper into a little triangle or something like that. And then I've also been around where it is complaint after complaint after complaint, and all of the horrible things that everybody did and the drama that's going on, and it's a whole heaviness in the whole culture and the atmosphere, the energy of the group. And so our culture can greatly impact, more so than the good pay or the job description or anything else. I mean, you can have a job that on paper looks great, and yet the boss is such a beast to work with that nobody wants to work with them. And or there's a team member who's so toxic, everybody avoids them like the plague, and so your workload, or your company is going to suffer simply because of the human interaction. We've got to remember that we are humans over anything else, and that means that those simple things of do I know, like, and trust you are super critical when it comes to the team that you are working with and the company that you're going to every day in and out, having these interactions with. What kind of culture are you creating? Are you creating a culture of a growth mindset, of positivity, of truly seeing and hearing each individual? Or is it a culture of negativity, victim mindset, my way or the highway, fast pace, and the goal is the bottom line, regardless of the people that are hurt in the process? It makes a huge difference in your company.
Yeah, and I think to your point, it's so important to remember that each company is going to have a different culture. You know, it's not going to be the same. It's not cookie cutter, which is why we love the disc, but we're not going to go there yet.
Right.
I wanted to share with you, Ashley, that I did actually do a poll recently in LinkedIn. So I want to share this with our audience as well, that just asked, you know, talking about how culture can be such an abstract word.
Mm-hmm.
And I specifically asked, you know, what is your frustration with the word culture? And one answer that we got was from AJ AS. I'm sorry, AJ, if I say your name wrong, Aostri. He's actually a recruiter with Disney Professional Internships and Programs. And he said the assumption that there is only one acceptable culture, my culture, pop culture, my town's culture, etc. There are many different wonderful cultures out there. The word culture should be attached to an open mind. That is how you enrich your personal culture, which I think goes along with what we do beautifully.
Yes. Oh yeah, I love that, and and it is so true. Yeah, this isn't about identifying the perfect culture. It's what kind of culture do you want to cultivate in certain environments. And I mean, we can take our family culture. What is the culture in our home? What does that look like? All the way through to, yeah, what's our work culture? What's that environment like? What's the culture in our community that we're living in? These are all different opportunities. And yeah, when I hear the word culture, what I think is, here's an opportunity for me to learn and observe the way people and things function in this environment. And that's the point of culture, is to explore and see, yeah, how are things functioning and growing in this environment. And so the more we can look at culture as something to learn about and intentionally cultivate, then we're going to create those cultures that we can thrive in, and not just be in a reactive environment where we are victims of circumstance.
Yeah, so good. And I think it's really why we're so passionate about DISC, particularly for helping businesses with their company culture, because it is so specific to the people that you have within your company, their family dynamics, everything that goes into that. So let's talk about that. Why are we so passionate here at 48 days about helping companies with their culture using DISC?
Oh my goodness, I have had,
If you can name one.
yeah, man,
Probably
there's
not.
there's so we've believed in this so much that my father, when he founded the company 48 days, over, oh man, now I'm on the spot. Is it 20, 30 years ago, almost 30 years ago, when he founded this company, um, he believed so much in what insights DISC could give him, that at that point he had every coaching client go through it. Well, since then we have every coaching client go through DISC. We have everybody who's on our team go through DISC. We offer this as a part of our Eagles Elite membership program. They all go through DISC. Everybody in Dad's mastermind goes through DISC. And the reason why we do all of that is because it is such a great, it's a great, not fast forwarder, but I'm trying to think of what a word is for
You
that. But
said cheat sheet earlier, and I
it's a
love
cheat
that.
sheet. Yes,
Yes.
it does. It propels you forward faster in a relationship, because you understand some of the nitpicky things. And for an example for that would be that I've gone into company cultures, and you have the person with the big ideas who's got lots of positivity and who is so excited about the things that they can do to build and grow their company. And you've got a lot of frustration between them and the negative Nancy, the one over here who's poking holes in every fun idea. And there's all this tension and this animosity between the two of, well, you're just shooting down everything that I say. And the other person is going, well, are you thinking anything through? And it's not a matter of a right or a wrong. It's a matter of looking at what the skill sets are. And so when we can use a tool like a DISC personality profile to help people to understand when and where these strengths can be utilized, then all of a sudden what you have instead is, you have the person with the great ideas who's saying, oh my gosh, I've got these three thoughts that I have that I'm looking at digging deeper into for us to implement. You know, can you take a quick look at these and let me know out of these, you know, which do you see as a strategy that might work based on the knowledge that you have that you can bring into it? And they go, oh, okay, go with this one. And I've done my research and I can give you these 3 pointers. So now we can go faster with the idea because we have the person that's paid attention to the details, who can ask the questions we don't think of asking, working alongside the person with the ideas to make it work. And that's where all of a sudden you can have very polar opposite personality styles instead of them being the person that beats the other down, because they're so opposite. They're looking at, okay, can you fill in the gap here? And it allows us all to work way more effectively and efficiently when we're working in our sweet spots, as opposed to trying to prove ourselves to others, to defend ourselves to others, or to barrel through and take over all.
Yeah, I love that. And I actually wanted to go through today just a couple. I mean, because there's so many things we can pull from insight about the DISC personality and behavior reports. So,
Yes.
what I wanted to do today is maybe just take two ways that we can make this a very hands on, tangible way to look at culture. And I really narrowed it down. So one of the ways that we looked at is in communication. And again, there's multiple topics within communication that we could cover. But Ashley, could you share, just looking at all the four disc personalities,
Mm-hmm.
why each one of those needs written expectations?
Oh my goodness. First and foremost, a written expectation. What that does, and I talk about this as a relationships coach. I talk about this where, you know, having a family vision and having something written down, or in work, maybe it's a written down fluid job description, but it's written down. The reason for having things written down is that it allows kind of a third party to come in to say, okay, this is what we agreed on and it's in writing. It's not a he said, she said situation. It's not, well, I thought. It's laid out in writing, and it can take some of the emotion out of a situation to then be able to come back later and say, you know, hey, you know, when we talked at our last meeting, you know, we agreed on the deadline of January 30th for you to have these 10 things done. You know, you got to 8. This was our agreement. Can you help me understand where you're at and where we can go from here? Instead of, well, you told me you'd be finished and it's not already. Why? Having that extra point can really help. And so when we go into the different personality styles, what things to have written down and how really matters. So for example, if you're talking to somebody who is more of that D, highly driven, eagle personality style, then sending a whole long paragraph of something is going to have somebody's eyes glaze over. That's a high D personality style is oftentimes why you have bullet points and bold print. It's the call outs, it's the bullet points. They're going to be skimmers and they're going to be looking for what's the bottom line, what's the big picture, what's the need in this commentary. And so having things written out and having the key action steps in bold or bulleted is so valuable. For an I, having things in writing really helps to keep on track of the agenda so that you can follow the agenda and they start going off on a bunny trail of telling a story, because you've got your high eyes who are your inspiring, engaging storytellers, and your parrots. Having that written agenda can go, oh, that was a great story about your hiking trip. And the next thing on our line is we need to go address this issue. And so it helps us to stay on track and on task, which is where a high I can really benefit from it. An S, oftentimes an S being that peacemaker, the stable, steady personality style that it's like a dove. For that S style, keeping things in writing really helps with confrontation, with conflict. Instead of having to, hey, I told you this, it's, you see what we agreed on, you know, this was written down. It really takes a lot of the confrontation out when things are in writing, and you can go back and reference back to writing that has been mutually agreed on, as opposed to it just being, again, one person's word against the other. And then for a C personality style, having things in writing covers the details. Literally, cross your T's and dot your I's. Get the details in, be able to back what you have to say, and have resources and references. Those are things where C's are going to be digging into the why. So the more answers addressed in written form, the more those questions are eliminated, and they can go into implementation and what action steps we can take from it. So yeah, there's so many ways that having things in writing can help with communication. And I will also stress, having things in writing does not eliminate the actual communication.
Yeah.
Writing is your follow-up. And I want to stress that writing, having things in writing as much as possible, is best for follow up, not everything communicated in that way. Because when we are writing, we do miss tone of voice, we miss facial
Mhm.
expressions, we miss being able to read the other person's cues. And especially for a D and a C personality style who tend to be focused on the task, they are not spending time with the fluff of, hey, I hope your day is going well. And so in writing, sometimes it can come across really curt or insensitive when it's not. It's just very task focused. And so recognizing that, I always make sure that even when you are doing things in writing, read it out loud, think about how it's going to come across, and determine, is that your first step or is that your follow up after you've had a conversation with somebody?
Ooh, good point. Yeah, because even that could be different personalities are going to like a different order. And yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yep.
good. Okay, so as you can see, we can talk a lot about that. There's so much more around it, honestly, in communication. So let's jump into my second thing, and then you guys are going to see why you're going to want to implement this into your business because there's so many more nuances that we can go through. But let's talk about motivation. And
Oh.
we've started calling this the incentive language. Why is it important to speak the same incentive language as your team?
Oh my goodness. Because I can sit there and in my Heidi style put the high pressure on my S team. And I can say, it's about the bottom line. We need to get to this and this and this. Well, because I know disc personality styles, I know now that S personality styles do not respond well to pressure. S's tend to, they slow and steady is the way that an S is really going to work well. And S's are the ones that are in it for the long haul, that you really can rely on, that tend to be very loyal and faithful.
Mhm.
And in their high caring, when they are triggered, oftentimes you go to I don't care, and it's complete apathy and shutdown. And so if I don't know how to motivate my team and I'm just pushing for the bottom line, yet I've hired a whole team of supporters, I'm not speaking in the way of, let's support and build up our clients, and how well do you know our clients, and focusing on the relationship. And instead I'm coming in with my agenda. Let's do the bottom line. What are the results? What are the numbers saying? um, I'm likely to get complete shutdown. I'm likely to get burnout, people leaving versus confronting, because they would
Mhm.
rather avoid the situation. And so I can completely demotivate my team, and I can sabotage a whole business goal simply by pushing my team in a way that they don't respond well to.
Mm.
So when we can look at what motivators work, is it let's make things fun? Is it we're in this together? Is it that this is a challenge to figure out? Is this, a system to put in place? If I can figure out what things are going to be the sweet spot, it makes a huge difference. And we talk about this. I unschool my kids. We homeschool our kids. We talk a lot about delight led learning, and how at any point in life, when there is a desire to learn, there is an ability to grasp the concept,
Mhm.
light years faster than when you're forced to do it.
Yeah.
So when you have delight led motivation, when you are motivated in a way that speaks to your soul and your personality style, you're going to go way further in your success ultimately for the business, if I'm thinking about it as a business leader, I want you to enjoy and be excited and be motivated in what you're doing, because, dragging a limp, wet cat across the finish line is not in any way going to excite or motivate anybody else to invest in our business either.
Yeah, so good. And I think we often see, there's usually a team who's in charge of, incentivizing and motivating. And I think it tends to be, maybe those high I personalities that are like, oh, let's throw a party and let's do this. And, so often then you have the rest of the team that's kind of like, that's not really what I want to
I
do.
don't want to do one more social mixer. I hate these mixers. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got a high I motivator trying to do these team things, and they're, to do for like a tech force where you may have people that have a tendency to be more task focused and really enjoy sitting in front of a computer and not interacting with people all day long. And now you want to make them come together by forcing them all into a party atmosphere that they would not want to be in. That's
Yeah.
not always the best fit. So yeah, it can be a great fit for a high I to be the motivator in a community, in a team, or in a business, or in a family, or anything else, especially when that high I can recognize how to motivate to the different styles, not just what's fun for them.
Yeah, so good. And I think knowing some of the weaknesses that can also happen from different team members, for example, S's can take on a lot of work because they are people pleasers. A lot of times they're relational, and recognizing that maybe like a gift card to a massage to take care of themselves might be, or, to go with a family member to an event or something will be a better motivation for them versus going to another work party where they're away from their family.
One more obligation that they have to do. Right.
Exactly. So I love that. Okay, final question. There's so many ways that we can work with people using this. We rename the disc. We have a couple of it for names for ourselves, for our company, and the things that we use them for. So there's many ways people can use this in their business. Ashley, what ways would you suggest for working with DISC in their business? Some of the main things.
Yes, some examples that we have used. I personally am an example of what many of our coaches do, and that is I'm DISC certified, so I've gone through DISC certification, and part of the perk with 48 days is you get 10 free profiles with that, so you're already set up with an account. I was able to then go in and I customized those. And to your point, instead of me calling them the DISC personality styles, my own company with relationship, family, marriage and family is under my Mama Says Namaste business. And so I named them the Mama Says, or the Namaste snapshots. They're Namaste personality snapshots. And what I talk about is like when you are doing a family portrait, and I have family portrait sessions that I offer. When you're doing a portrait session, your goal is to have everybody kind of compliment each other and to see each other in their best light. What if we had a snapshot into our personality to see how to see us in our best light, to put our best self forward, to be the selfie from the inside out that everybody is excited about. And so I've used the profiles in two ways. One is every coaching client, walking through with the coaching client and with their families and helping them understand how everybody may perceive each other and be motivated best by each other, how you can best communicate and connect. And then also selling them to the general public, just having them for sale on my website. We can set it up like that, where then it's fully customized, it's fully branded to my own company, and then can be sold on my website. And there's a variety of options there that we have, everywhere from for the young child and for a student learner, and then all the way up through the many things we offer through 48 days with the group dynamics, sales, fitness, Christian gifts and values, and classics. So we've got a lot of different options and ways that we can modify or customize it to either be added into a package that you may offer or to sell directly from your website. So those are some ways. Some other ways that we have seen them used is for State Farm insurance companies. So think about insurance companies in places where you've got lots of sales and potentially lots of rollover. I've used them in two aspects for this. One, for hiring purposes and really understanding who's a really good fit for this role, and two, going in and leading workshops, doing small workshops that help the team understand how to utilize sales and how to sell to the different personality styles. So I have seen it for a lot of team building and motivation for within a team, as well as hiring purposes, to really recognize where is a good fit for somebody. And then also understanding, again, even when you're in larger corporate settings, the leadership opportunities. My father-in-law worked at Nissan, and he was there for 30 years, and and oftentimes the people that came to him were the ones that were about this close to being let go. And so they come and they had a conversation with him before they were let go. And because he had the skill set of understanding DISC personality styles, he was able to talk to people and help to determine what's the missing link. Are they not in the best fit in their role, and they readjust, they pivot some things, and all of a sudden they're thriving in the workplace? Or is there somewhere else in the company that's a better fit for them? Or is there just a better understanding of who they are that can eliminate some of the tension points that you have? And so he used it a lot for retention as well, retention and placement within an organization. So there's a lot: leadership, hiring, retention, placement, team building, encouragement, excitement, and credibility and expertise, even for communicating and connecting with others.
I love it. I love it. So obviously many ways that you can get, the disc. We have our website, which I believe I put in the description. I will also drop it in the comments, but of course that's 48days.com/disc for business, disc assessments for business, with a dash in between each one. And I will definitely put that in the comments so you guys can find it. And you're welcome to, reach out to us from there. And of course, I am available for phone calls. You can schedule a call with me to have a very honest and open conversation about how you could utilize this in your business. So, all right. Any last thoughts to wrap us up, Ashley?
We've got so many free resources and ways to help you understand more about DISC. So yeah, even just /DISC is going to get you on a page that'll show you all about individuals and personal, as well as business, and where to go. So I hope that these calls, and knowing that Mariah is offering these on a consistent basis like this, these calls can help so much with helping you to gain the confidence to understand how to use them in your company, and in your life in general, and recognizing that, unlike a lot of places nowadays, our goal is to have a real live person to interact with. This is not an automated message situation. We're not just AIing this out to other things, but we want to talk about your specific situation, your unique scenario, and how it can best fit. And oftentimes that means that instead of us telling you what we have to offer, it's you having a call, you talking to Mariah, and being able to then assess, okay, out of what you've told us, here are some opportunities that may be a good fit, that are going to make things easier for you. And so we want to keep that door wide open for us being available to answer those questions and to curate something that's specific for your business, not just a cookie cutter solution for all.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ashley. I know that you guys are going to get a lot out of this. So if you're watching the replay, please feel free to send us questions. And of course, you can connect to us through the website. And we just have lots of great information that we are happy to share, lots of resources. So please do reach out. We love it. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. Until next time, have another great week. And we will see you on Delightful Discussions next week. Bye.
Thank you.